It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
Charlie was done with Israel bullying him, and I am now going to present you proof of what I am saying. This is an actual group chat, which happened 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. There were 9 people in total on this chat, including Charlie and Rob McCoy. I'm going to protect the names of the other 7 for now. To be clear, I might actually release a name every day this week, but I want to show you this because suffice it to say, Rob McCoy was on this text thread, and I think it helps contextualize him as a person, in my view, that he would attack me for telling the truth about the pressure that he was facing.
I just want to tell y'all, man, how big Candace really is right now. And if y'all are not paying attention, she is a force to be reckoned with. And she is exactly what Charlie Kirk was afraid of, is black women. And as much as he talked bad about black women, this woman is brilliant. You might not like her, but she ain't stupid.
Take a look. So Charlie writes in this group chat, just lost another huge Jewish donor, $2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker. I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Somebody writes, ugh. Charlie writes, Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Then somebody writes, a donor writes, please do not invite Candace. That might feel good short term, but it's not good long term. In my opinion, like all groups, you're going to get a wide variety of opinions. That nasty free will thing that God bestowed on us makes life frustrating at times after the dust settles a bit, maybe. So again,
this goes back to what I was saying about Nick Cannon, Kanye West. Everybody thinks it was just because they were black. No. There are people who wield their powers, and they wield it strong, and they use a rhetoric they in their defense, they use a rhetoric that makes it seem as if you're being hateful towards them, so they silence you with the hate clause, because there's a hate clause for these individuals, and that way they can go on with their narrative, and they won't be questioned about it. But continue.
this is 48 hours before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. He was very clear and he was very explicit, and he did not back down, not in that Hamptons meeting, which they're all lying about, nor in this text thread. I'm not going to reveal the names of the other 7. Actually, you know what? I disagree with myself 4 seconds ago. Let's just throw in Josh Hammer for funsies. He's on this chat, okay? So what are we to make of that? Okay, now that I'm showing you this and showing to you that the conversations were real, I want you to reflect, and it took me a lot of patience to allow the lies that were being woven and the misrepresentations of people that were pretending that I was just, high on lying about Charlie and the pressure he was under, the attacks that not just me, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly faced for trying to stand up and tell the truth about what Charlie was actually going through. Why are you hearing it, though, from me and Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly? Isn't that weird? You got people that are hosting a show. Have they, in like one honorable thing, come out and said, like, you know what? F a couple of these donors who made his life a living hell in the last couple of weeks. Why haven't they done that?
Also, this plays into the conspiracies of the person who actually took out Tucker Carlson. I mean, not Tucker Carlson, Charlie Kirk. Oh, don't let Tucker go down, then I'll be getting blamed for it. But the person who took out Charlie Kirk, the guy's father was able to, I don't know 100%, but he was going to claim the reward money for finding the person who took out Charlie Kirk. And it was a large amount of money. All I gotta say is follow the money and you'll find what's going on.
also a rabbi in that chat. Like, why hasn't anybody made that move to at least say, to vindicate what I have been saying about what he was going through? That registers to me as very suspicious. I'm going to frankly say that it's suspicious to me. It makes me think that in the same way that.
Hold on. I did not say Charlie hated Candace. Charlie disliked black women. What is Candace? I mean, come on, man. How many times did he degrade black women? Said they weren't competent enough. These aren't just sound bites. These were his words. And what is Candace? So let's think about it. Come on, man. That's why I said she's the person that he feared the most. Black women. Because he degraded them so much. It don't matter that they was friends.
Charlie was being pressured by money, that you might be now run by that same money, that those same donors might be running you. Charlie was done with Israel bullying him, and I am now going to present you proof of what I am saying.
But I want to take the start of this show to address some of the things that have been going around on public, namely about a group text chain that has been made known and released by Candace Owens. And I just want to address it head on because, that was a screen grab that I had shared with people. So it is authentic. And I want to go into it because I actually am really excited that the truth is out there. I first want to say the reason I didn't share that screen grab publicly is because it was a private exchange, and I felt like it didn't necessarily comport with things that were already public. I wanted to not betray my friends' trust in that way. But I did share it with some people in government because it happened really quick. It was, it took 33 hours for authorities to get their suspect. And in those first moments, we wanted no stone unturned. We wanted to leave nothing unturned. So I shared it with a few people. Don't know where it went from there, apparently. But here we are. So one of the reasons, Blake, that I'm glad to have this now public, it was not mine to share publicly, but one of the criticisms we've received is that we don't care. We're not investigating every lead. We're not looking under every stone. And that somehow we're just sweeping things under the rug. And when I say that we want justice for Charlie more than anybody else, I really mean it, and no stone unturned. I mean, I don't know if you want to chime in on that part alone, but I have more to say.
Yeah, so it has been so frustrating to have people blow up about this. Yeah. And I've certainly stated publicly, the reason I haven't weighed in on things is I am an eyewitness to events, and they've said, don't comment on things because anything you say can mess that up. I don't want to mess up any trial for the person who did this.
That's 1,000% right. And I will say I wasn't an eyewitness. I was not there. I flew to Utah immediately to be with the family and the team, but I was not an eyewitness. So there's that. But I am aware that in my role as spokesman for Turning Point USA, which is another hat I wear, that things I say, I'm cognizant of the fact that things I say could negatively impact an ongoing investigation. All right. But I will weigh in specifically on this issue of Israel because I know there's a lot of fascination. And I just want to say that, we have to let free speech be our North Star here, okay? Charlie was adamantly free speech, and I am not personally going to impugn anybody's character who is asking questions and looking for answers, all right? And I will say that text chain is consistent with public frustrations that he voiced many times, and I know, Blake, you were in the trenches on a lot of this stuff because we were workshopping how we were going to do the tour and he's going to get asked about Israel, what was he going to say. And this is consistent with things that he told his friends, people that are, in the wider movement about his wrestle that he was going. And so I just want to say, what is the truth about the way Charlie felt about Israel? Well, it's complicated and it's nuanced, and it was a wrestle that was going on for months. And it's probably somewhere between the BB letter and the text.
So what do we think? Okay, obviously, You can tell he's anxious. You can tell he's nervous speaking about this. I am sure it was positively frantic at Turning Point USA yesterday. I am sure he had very little sleep. And like I say, never the fun thing to be the spokesperson and also to be involved in the story. I can tell you right off the bat, he is telling the truth. He was not the person who shared that message with me. He also should know that he was not the only person who sent that message and sent messages around. So there are a lot circulating, some videos that are circulating, and yeah, he's being honest about that portion. I personally, as someone who knows Andrew Colby, I want to express how I feel. I hold it against him, actually, that he didn't share it with me. He knew I cried on the phone with Andrew. He knew how I was feeling. And then I went under a very, well, you could say a blitzkrieg, right? A heavy bombardment from people who he knows hated Charlie, who tried to stop Charlie, people who had no issues showing up to his memorial. I mean, really gross stuff, who were attacking me. And he could have at least provided some cover. Now, I'm not saying that I need help, but sometimes it's nice to offer somebody a lifeboat when they're being.
I'm telling y'all, give it a few months. This Charlie Kirk situation is going to be way bigger. And then everybody was like, oh, we're going to push forward the movement of him, you know, what his whole stance was on everything. That's what everybody was about to push forward. And they said that the movement is going to be bigger than ever. No, the stuff that's going to come out in the coming weeks is going to blow your mind. Because I'm telling you, the FBI's on this, CIA, the Home Shopping Network, everybody is on this.
Being attacked for telling the truth, right? So I do want to say that. Also, I'm glad that Andrew responded correctly, because I was going to say this when Blake's like, well, you know, the investigation's ongoing. That text message has nothing to do with an investigation whatsoever. It has to do with the broader question of people feeling that Charlie's legacy is intentionally being hijacked by Israel. I never stated that Israel killed Charlie. Anybody that's been watching this investigative series, we've come up, I mean, there hasn't even been an Israeli name that's popped up in this investigation. There's only been one Jewish person, I think, that's popped up thus far in this investigation, which is George Zinn, decoy boy. So they're just saying that. They're just saying that. I just wanted to say that he was under a tremendous amount of pressure. Now, regarding, the other things that are circulating that have not been publicized yet, and people should know that there is an underground movement of truth tellers in this moment. Okay. There's an underground movement of knights all around the world, from mom sleuths to government employees, like he said, to personal assistants, to Turning Point USA donors, who are working together to bring justice to Charlie, because we don't like the way this feels. We just don't like the way it feels. The vibes are off. I will respect, even though obviously that statement was prepared, I will respect the fact that Andrew says what Charlie would have said. And for the first time, I feel that's been expressed, that we have to let free speech be our North Star. And I'm not so sure that some of the people that are donating to Turning Point USA believe that. In fact, I'm certain some of them don't believe that. Obviously, we wouldn't have that text message if they all believed that.
I just want to point out something. In the chat here, they saying, shut your anti-Semitic mouth up. Now, that is the rhetoric that I'm talking about. Nobody has to hate anyone. When someone is speaking about a certain individual or a certain group of people in a manner or context that is being laid out, she's not saying that this is the whole culture, this is the whole religion. These are certain people who just happen to be in this religion. They happen to be wealthy, and they happen to push the line on certain issues. It's not on the whole culture, it's on these people who control media, who control the music, who control the TV, who control, and it's all about control. It's not really about hate. It's like, if you want someone to support you, don't pressure them into supporting you. And then, but money rules everything. So what do? I'm gonna take my money from you. whether that's anti-Semitic or not, it's not. It's just like, that's just a person. If you don't like something, if I don't like McDonald's, I'm not going to give McDonald's my money. That won't stop McDonald's, is what I'm saying. So if you don't like something, don't give it your money. And then, but when McDonald's says, oh, America don't like our burgers, well, I'm going to just shut America off with our burgers, and I'm going to keep our burgers over in these countries. And McDonald's is just going to take their money and their business elsewhere. That's what it is. That's all I'm saying.
And that is what I think has been so frustrating, is that it seems as though the executives would rather, and I'm now referring to Tyler Boyer, impugn the character of the people who are doing exactly what Charlie Kirk would have done. So please, Andrew, make sure that Tyler Boyer and Alex Clark get the internal memo about free speech. I want to say one more thing rather explosively. 3 people told me off record, 2 people who have this in a written communication from Charlie, one who is a Turning Point USA donor, and I would say very much one of the white knights in this. The very day before Charlie Kirk died, he expressed that he thought he was going to be killed. He told these people, I think they're going to kill me. Okay. He did not express that to me. So I am telling you this based off the testimony of 3 people. And I am saying this because I hope that these people who I think are good will be inspired to come forward with that. Again, those conversations I had were off record. I honor that. If I say it's off record, it stays off record. But I'm hoping that watching what I am doing and feeling the energy that is rising across the world for people who want to know what the heck happened on 9/10, that, they will be brave and they will say, yeah, Charlie did the day before he died think that he was going to be killed, and maybe tell us, who is they? Well, for once and for all, who is they?
I also want y'all to be paying attention to the date, 9/10. What's after 9/10? 9/11. There's more significance. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I just be traveling down some rabbit holes, and I got some friends that be rabbit holing with me, and I be like, damn, that's crazy. But I'm not here for conspiracies. I'm here for facts. So we just gonna wait till we get the facts.
Who is the they that he thought were going to kill him? Now, to give the obvious answer to federal informant Nick Fuentes' question, the reason that I waited to reveal the text messages is because I'm not a child. Okay, like I said, I have a lot more. I'm not an idiot, and I have self-control, and I understand that time is always going to be on the side of truth. Time is on the side of truth. Liars know that that's the reality. Liars know that they have to speak quickly, that they have to speak repeatedly. And I wanted the world to truly understand just exactly what it is that we are up against. Okay. People that I deem to be mentally and spiritually evil. Okay. Evil in the true essence of the word evil. People who knowingly lied, instantly lied, repeatedly lied, and continued to do so without a trace of shame. Okay. Without a trace of shame.
But I want to.
I believe Candace is on to something, and all of us, we're going to follow this in the next coming days. I've tapped into Candace's shows, and just to understand more of where she's at and where she's coming from. Now, what I come here for is the facts and the truth. And if I can't listen to all sides and all parties, then I'll be lying to myself, and I don't like to lie to myself, and I will definitely not lie to y'all. Now, I may say some off the wall stuff, but I'm not gonna lie to y'all, okay? And if I see BS, I'm gonna call it out. So, and thank you all for taking in this info with me as we watch.